Our first speaker this morning is Dr. Phil Mease. Phil is a rheumatologist in Seattle. He's director of the Division of Rheumatology Clinical Research at Swedish Medical Center, and he received his bachelor's degree at Stanford, his medical degree at Stanford. He has been active in the Washington Osteoporosis Coalition. He's been a clinical consultant for over 40 pharmaceutical companies. He's a member of a number of national and international advisory boards. He's a reviewer for a number of journals. He's been recognized as one of the best doctors in America, author of more than 200 books, book chapters, journal articles. And this morning, one of his fortes is psoriatic arthritis. He's going to give us a psoriatic arthritis update.
Thank you, David, and thanks for having me. This meeting is getting to be apparently more and more popular. To have this many people showing up at 8 for a talk on the beach is really quite something. And I'll very briefly get out of the way my apology to you for bringing Seattle weather to Destin, Florida. So, David kept peppering me with emails saying, come on, Phil, you've got to have a sexier title than Psoriatic Arthritis Update, but not being one for sexy titles, here it is. So what I'm going to be doing is a potpourri of touchdowns on aspects of basic science about disease state of psoriatic arthritis, something about the evolving classification, ideas about it, the criticality of thinking about the multiple clinical domains that are present in a patient with psoriatic arthritis and how we should be thinking about each of those domains and the impact of those domains on an individual patient when we do our treatment selections. And then tackling where we are currently with treatment options and a little look into the future. So a pretty broad survey over the course of the next period of time. And I appreciate us getting going a little bit early. These are my disclosures relevant to this talk. So, many of you know well, either from your own clinical practice or from sitting in lectures, some of these types of images of a patient with psoriatic arthritis. A key differentiating feature often is the juicy distal interphalangeal joint involvement. And I use the word juicy simply to try to differentiate it from a patient with classic Heberden nodes changes of osteoarthritis. Roughly 85% of people with PSA will have nail changes, and there's I'll show you shortly, there's a very tight association between the distal interphalangeal joint involvement and the nail involvement. Some of the other features obviously include the asymmetry of the disease. It will pop up in one joint on one hand, but not a different set of joints on the other, and so on. And another unique feature is the potential for a single ray, as it's called, or digit to be involved. So you might have dramatic involvement of several joints along a whole digit, and then the adjacent finger or toe will not be involved at all. And we don't really understand why that occurs. Dactylitis is shown in several of the images. For example, the lower two images, the left fourth finger, the left third toe. This involves inflammation of not only the synovium, but also the enthesial insertions and the tenosynovial structures of that digit. So the whole digit will be involved. And this is a marker for severity of the disease. Some of the interesting paradoxes in psoriatic arthritis include the fact that it can be dramatically erosive, as is demonstrated in the lower image, the classic pencil and cup change, but yet at the same time and in the same individual,